We believe there's power in small things, and that small things can make a big difference, even though it might not be a perfect solution that solves every problem. It still makes a difference, and that matters. And for our shoes, they make a difference in three ways. The first one is just health. My goodness, I grew up in a beautiful little town here in Idaho. I ran around barefoot all the time. But where many of these kids live, their context is very dirty and dangerous. And they really, it's an issue. It is a health issue for them not to have shoes. Besides just injuries that can happen as they step on glass and sharp rocks and things like that, many of these kids live in areas without adequate sanitation or clean water, and they are getting diseases that are entering their body through their feet. If they get a cut or a scrape on their foot, their body is opened up to these diseases. And so it's a big deal. It's not just fashion. It's not just a shoe that looks good. Shoes are really a line of defense for health for these kids. The second thing they provide often is access to education. Many of these kids, they live in areas where there's a mandatory school uniform, and often shoes are a required part of that school uniform. That's why this little girl is holding up a black shoe. Black is our most popular color because that's what many of the kids use for a school uniform shoe that typically is black. And so for a lot of these kids, if they don't have shoes, they can't go to school, which sounds terribly unfair, and it is, but it's a reality in some of these areas. Also, many of these kids walk a long way to go to school. And for them to have shoes that fit, shoes that feel good, it makes a real difference in their school attendance. And so we love the difference that it makes for education. And the final thing, these kids are not any different from my kids or your kids. Kids like to have the things they need to succeed. When kids in poverty receive a pair of our shoes, they're happier, they're more confident, they feel better, having pride that they've got a pair of shoes and now they can do anything, right? I mean, it really is, it's those three things. Kids with our shoes, we're helping kids be more healthy, attend school more often, and be happier and be more confident. And so again, it doesn't solve every problem, but there's power in those things. And that's it's what gets me up every morning. I love it. I love helping kids be in a better position to succeed, and shoes are one way of doing that. So just to say, this is my story, right? Like this is what I do. It's not what everybody does. But I do think this message could apply to just about everybody. And that's one of my favorite things about this message of the power of small things. Everybody can do a small thing. Not everybody can do a big thing. Like Bill Gates, he can do some things that I cannot do, right? Like he's awesome, and he's got a lot of money and a lot of influence. He can do some big things, but everybody can do a small thing. And those small things are so powerful and so worth it. Whether you're a kid, whether you're a teenager, an adult, an older adult, everybody can do a small thing. And that's where this started for me. I just wanted to make a pair of shoes for that little girl in the white dress. I mean, that's really what it was for me. I saw this little girl. I got really upset that she had to cut open the front of her shoes to let her toes stick out. And even if I just made it for her, that would have been worth it for me to do that. That I didn't have any grand vision of this being what it is today. I just wanted to help one person. And even in my own life now, I love the work that I do, but I've got a neighbor. I love helping out my neighbor. If she needs cat food, if she needs whatever, I try to take this same mentality into all areas of my life, that there's power in small things and that small things can make a big difference. Often I tell people, I can't do everything for you, but I bet I could do something, so how can I help you? And I try to do it. And now I'm trying to teach my kids, right? Maybe you can't help everybody. Maybe you this month won't find the perfect solution to fix homelessness or poverty, but I guarantee there's a small thing that you can do in your life today or this week or this month that'll make a difference to somebody. And the final thing I'll say, this mentality to do small things that make a big difference. This really helped me keep going. Again, it took me 6 years to work on this idea, and I wanted to quit many times. And I'm really glad I kept going. But one reason I kept going was because I knew it didn't need to be perfect. It didn't have to be the perfect solution. Didn't have to be the perfect shoe right away. It didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to keep going. And I think for people who are very missional, if you've got things you're passionate about, it's hard to get stuff started. It's hard to keep stuff going. But you have to. You have to. Don't quit. Don't stop. If you've got something you love, the world needs you to keep going. And don't get worried about, having it be perfect and help everybody and oh, it's not ready yet. No, just keep going, get out there, help one person. You can do it. All that stuff. All that stuff.